Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones and my co-host Monica Livingston. She's in the chair today. Also, Kimberly Johnson and Ruthie Wyburn. Hello. I tell you what, today we're going to start off with a topic that two of us haven't heard about it or didn't read it yet, and two of us have, and we like to kind of spring it on each other sometimes. We do that. We're crazy in many ways, but we do that sometimes. We withhold the information until we just put it right out there, and we like to snap our heads over and see what the other two are thinking of or how they react. And that's what we're going to do today with this first topic. Monica, lead us off, please.
Okay. Well, the topic was first seen by Rhonda, and she sent me a link. And it is a gentleman who wrote a blog. And I'm going to give his name, because if he obviously wrote the blog, he don't care. His name is Matt Forney. And it says, A Case Against Female Self-Esteem. And the article basically starts off that he says he's just going to put it out there. He loves insecure women. And I'm going to read straight from his article. He says, whenever a girl I'm talking to brags about how she's confident and strong, I can feel my, I'm going to say member, deflating like a punctured tire. My first thought is he needs to put a pump or something. But anyways, he says I'd still bang her, is his words. So, this is really awful. I mean, this man doesn't think highly of women. He goes on to say that the idea that women should have self-esteem or need it beyond a baseline to ensure that they don't commit suicide or become psycho stalkers is crazy, and it's a disastrous social engineering experiment in the modern era. Yeah. All right, ladies, thoughts. There's more to it, but thoughts.
She just hit some of the, well, I was going to say high points, but I should say low points. She just hit some of the low points when she first started. He's definitely turned off by anytime a woman is saying like, oh, I'm a confident woman and I have some self-esteem about myself. I really like myself. And, that let's call it ego. That deflates his, no, it won't be right. He
becomes impotent.
Yes.
Well, not apparently.
Yes.
Entirely, because he said he'd still do her because she'd have a slamming body.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the rest of that.
He is a testimony on why women should be confident. That's what...
What do you mean by that? I like that.
To avoid people like this. Yeah, just be confident just so you avoid this kind of person.
Right. Exactly.
And that was my thought, too. He said that he wants a woman to feel like she needs him, and if he isn't like her everything, and she can do things without him, and doesn't need him, then that's very, deflating to his, like you said, his ego and other parts. But my thing is, it sounds more like an issue of control. So, he doesn't want a woman that can stand on her own 2 feet. And I was sharing with Rhonda that, my sister brought up a very valuable point. She's in nursing school, or she was in nursing school. Now she's a nurse. Now she's going back to get further her degree. But she said, yeah, I'm married. I have a husband, blah, blah, blah. But what should happen if suddenly he was in a car accident or was, injured and he couldn't provide, and then I'm the sole provider, or he was to die, or we should split up and divorce? I mean, there's just so many scenarios out there where suddenly that woman could be put in a spot where she has to fend for herself, or worst case scenario, fend for herself and the rest of her family, kids, him, what have you. And if this woman isn't strong and confident and can go out there and do these things, and, she's totally dependent on this man, then she might find herself in a bad situation. So, I think that's some very good logic there, and I agree with you. I think they need to be strong and confident so they can avoid people like this.
Ruthie, have you ever ran across a man, I'm not saying personally in your life, but seen a guy that was turned off or didn't like a strong female?
Well, my first husband thought that the man ruled the roost, but I don't know that he was turned off by a smart female, but he did push me to become reliant on myself in case something happened to him. So he probably didn't feel that way. He had his own self-esteem, and it didn't depend on anybody else. This poor man doesn't. He has to have a woman to control in order to feel like he's important, and so he needs to go and talk to somebody.
Yes, that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very well put. So what we're saying, guys, if a strong, assertive woman that has self-esteem and she's confident, you may have to ask yourself, well, why is that threatening to me? Why do I feel this way?
It's not just strong and confident that bothers him. He goes on to say that from the moment that they're old enough to speak, girls in America are bombarded with propaganda that artificially boosts their self-esteem. They're told they're special and unique.
We are.
Well, unique is a term applied to everyone. I mean,
Yeah, that's not just females,
Right.
that's our children, period.
right, male and
And
female.
most girls have done nothing to deserve self-esteem.
Oh, okay.
Well-
He doesn't need help, he needs someone.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, it gets better, doesn't it?
And-
As if the beginning wasn't, bad enough.
And this is a young man. You would think maybe an older, and I hate to put this on older
Yeah,
people.
it almost sounds like a different generation.
Yes, exactly. It sounds more like a different generation, like maybe somebody in their 70s or 80s or even 50s and 60s,
Yeah,
possibly.
he's saying that if they were a bodybuilder, if they were a talented musician, a world traveler, a high-earning tradesman, then they should have self-esteem. But there's, no, that they're not special. They've done nothing to, warrant any kind of self-esteem or.
What has he done to earn his self-esteem?
I don't think he has any.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, Ruthie.
Well, I'm an armchair psychologist here, and it sounds like to me this man might be a latent homosexual. You know what I'm saying? That a woman is threatening to him or whatever, and he has a problem with women. And so I would suggest, if that is the case, that you may try a member of the same sex, and you may be more fulfilled with somebody that, that you can relate to, or somebody that's more like you, because it appears he doesn't. If you don't think a woman is special just for being a woman, maybe you're not attracted to women. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just making up stuff here. I'm trying to help the poor guy. He's 30 years old, right? I think it's
Something like that.
I mean, 30 years old. I'm wondering what has happened in his life to cause him to come to this point. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, he says that if anything, a college degree is a strike against a girl, and that most women that work have fluff jobs. Trying to get him riled up if you couldn't tell. I think we got a viewer comment coming in possibly.
riled up. Yeah, I'm glad the dude isn't here.
And he said if every woman was fired from their job tomorrow, the elementary schools would shut down. What is that saying for men that have become teachers and educators?
Wait a minute, the elementary school, like a woman can only teach little kids?
Oh, they only got fluff jobs.
Gee whiz.
And he said if
I'm
every
getting-
man
I'm
lost
getting
his
mad.
job, the country would collapse.
It's viewer comment. This viewer comment. Okay, well, hold on, folks. Viewer comment. This gentleman doesn't sound like a reputable source for social opinions. Give him a pulpit on the show is lifting this article higher than it should be to begin with. Well, I appreciate your opinion, but we're just trying to point out how stupid he is and ridiculous. And the article should be something that we can use to to teach our children with. Look, this is somebody that has an opinion of women that is erroneous, and you know, this is something you shouldn't do. Sometimes when you're teaching people, it's good to say this is what you should do, but a lot of times I teach like this is what you should not do. You should not treat women this way. You should not do that. And that might be, you know, adverse to your way of teaching, but so be it. But I do agree that this loon, in my opinion, did have a blog. He did write it on there. Women were up in arms about it, and we're talking about it today, and we like your comments, but I don't think we're elevating his opinion any higher, you know.
Well, I think that if we avoid subjects to where it, we give anybody kind of, by mentioning what they say, any kind of credence, or not credence like we're saying, yeah, you know, they said right. But if we don't mention it, we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about, because, you know, whether it be this guy who doesn't represent what I would consider a real man in America, because his opinions are that, you know, men are the only ones who should have any benefits or have any rights, and, you know, personally, I just think he's got some issues. But, you know, I mean, we talked about the Paula Deen thing. We talk about, you know, what this pastor says or teaches and what this person does. And so I think that, you know, there is a need to bring subjects up and to talk about them and to put different sides to them, a different spin on them, you know, and that's what we kind of do here on Reflection. So
yeah, this is like our opinion about certain people. So, and another thing, the sad thing is that I would have to say, and this is very unscientific on my part, but there are a lot of men that think this exact same way.
Right.
A lot of men.
And I think a lot of times, and I'm not saying that mainstream religion teaches exactly what this guy's saying, but in a lot of ways it does. I mean, look at the fact that women were only first educated because they were bringing up the men of the, you know, they were going to be the future of the country. That was the reason they were educated, because they were raising the male children. And that's pretty sad that, you know, women weren't just weren't allowed to be educated just to be educated because they want to and they want to go on, but that it was because they were the caregivers and the ones who were bringing up and educating male children. And that's very sad. And, you know, religion teaches that the man's like the head of the household, and not in a way that it's supportive, and it, you know, it teaches more of a dominant type, and, you know, the women being subjective to the men. You know, it doesn't teach any kind of equality.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, what would have happened if Martin Luther King Jr. didn't raise the awareness of all these social injustices and didn't bring up people that were doing wrong in, you know, Selma, Alabama, and with all these strikes and all these, you know, segregation, and sometimes you have to lift up the crap, you know, just so people can see it and then eventually help flush it. But you have to be aware of these things that are going on. And yeah, it's true, this person certainly doesn't represent, I would say, the majority, hopefully, of, you know, a social opinion about women, but you would be surprised that this person does represent a pretty big minority of opinion about women, and we see it. We talk about it a lot, and Monica pointed out in churches and established religious organizations that women are certainly treated as second-class citizens, certainly treated as inferior to men. Now, all that being said, I don't think we should take all that information with us, and every time we have an encounter with a man or a person of authority, say, oh, that's how they're going to treat me, and use it as baggage. You know, we all have baggage. We've all been treated unequal at times, but every situation you get into, I think we need to look at it as this is going to be a good situation. And I think Ruthie would agree to that, instead of this is going to be the same old way and I'm going to be treated, you know, like most of these preachers treat women, and we need to rise above that.
Yeah, when someone tries to put you down or think badly of you, just think in your head, what they think about me is not my problem, it's theirs.
Yes.
So that won't let you be beat down, so.
That is true. That is true. You got any final thoughts on this?
Well, just that we bring out articles like this, I think, as a contrast, and to encourage people, whether you're a man or a woman, or whether you're attracted to men or women, find a partner that not only respects your independence, but like Ruthie said, her husband encouraged it. Find someone you can be with that lifts you up and you lift them up. I mean, that's not someone who loves you if they want to keep you in a position of being dependent upon them.
Right. Exactly. Very well said. Very good. Mo, final thoughts?
I agree, and like you said, going into a situation with the baggage and the looking for every little thing to be wrong based on, well, this that I've had happen to me before, or even looking at it in other people's situations, we have to be careful because we can take our baggages and our biases into current things that we see or current things that we're involved in, and sometimes we can be dead wrong, and we can, lose friendships and lose out on opportunities that would be good opportunities because we've carried that baggage in and looked for something to be wrong when there's really nothing wrong.
That is true. And this is the way I feel about baggage, and this is easy to say and it's hard to do, but you need to carry your own baggage. And most of the times you need to leave it outside the door, and you need to go forward without that extra weight of past failures or past issues that you've had to deal with and overcome, and easy to say, hard to do. Lisa Graves says, well, this is interesting, ladies, LOL. Who is this guy? I didn't catch his name.
Matt Forney.
Is it Matt Forney? You need to Google him, find him. We believe him to be, he's probably about 30-ish. So we were surprised that a younger man felt this way. Actually, we would have thought that it was for maybe an older 70, 80-year-old man. I don't know. That's my opinion. But Matt Forney, how do you spell that?
Forney.
Forney, and he wrote a blog. And I think either Meg Berg or Stephanie McIntyre Bucher put it out on Facebook, and when I saw it, I read it, and I thought, oh, no, he didn't. But he absolutely did. And he says that he cannot participate in group activities if a woman says she's confident or self-assured. So I'm sorry for you, but you can go to the doctor and get a little pill for that. So.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more he said, so you can read it for yourself. I mean, he has like 1, 2, 3, and he just keeps kind of going down the list. So.
Yeah, he's very thorough and very young, and to have an opinion like this. So I feel sorry for him. Okay, moving forward. Hey, did you know that O.J. Simpson of the O.J. Simpson claim to fame, fantastic football player, college and professional. I don't want to call him a murderer because he was actually, but in the civil trial, it was deemed that he was responsible for the deaths of Ron Goldman and his ex-wife. But he has been convicted on charges of, I think, bum rushing somebody in a hotel and trying to steal something from him. But he is serving a prison sentence of 33 years for his recent indiscretions, and he has found God. He is really on fire, and he wants to be a TV evangelist. He wants to be a TV evangelist. So, what say you, Mo?
Personally, I think we have about enough of them. But, I think we need to bring down the numbers there instead of bring up. But I think they're doing more harm than good. So.
Well, I think he would be a good one. you know. But as far as a TV evangelist goes, but how in the world would this happen in prison? I mean, how could you be a TV evangelist in prison?
That's so marketable. Somebody's going to figure it out.
True.
Somebody is going to be all over that.
That will be one of our new reality shows, you know. I mean, they have all these others, so.
Well, Ruthie, I know you've got something to say about this.
Everybody is able to change. Now, being a TV evangelist while he's in prison, I'm not sure, because I know someone that's in prison and they don't have computers so that they
But
can
they're not
watch
O.J.
our show
Simpson either.
and stuff. So I don't know how he could do that, but
Yeah, how?
we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I do know that, you know, I think the part that got me was, and this isn't the only part, please know that got me, but the part that got me was he wanted to be a TV evangelist. He didn't just want to, you know, evangelize in his pod or his, you know, cell block or whatever, and keep it low key and try to help people one-on-one.
Has he found God or missing the spotlight?
Right, a TV evangelist. And I think that's the part that really opened my eyes, and I was taken aback by that part of it.
Right.
So we will see, but that might be a new Friday night reality show. I'm not sure. We have so many of them, so many reality shows. I know you don't watch TV a lot. Your families, you don't.
Barely find time, but.
Right. I DVR things, and, you know, late at night I'll watch it, or when my mother-in-law comes over to spend the night with us, I always turn on the religious channels for her, and it never fails that Dr. Jones will, you know, one of them will come on and he'll say something about it, and she'll get upset, and then I'll just sit there like, why did I put myself through this? Why don't we just watch, you know, Keeping Up with the Kardashians? It would be less, you know, volatile or something. I don't know. I miss Joan Rivers and her reality show. I will confess to that guilty pleasure. I love watching Joan Rivers and her daughter on their reality show. I do. I mean, she can be a little out there and, you know, a little gross and nasty, but if you take all that away, she's funny on some level, and then it also shows her to be very compassionate toward her family and her grandson, and, you know, I like her. That's my guilty pleasure confession, one of them that I can confess to. Anybody have any guilty pleasures that you can confess to? No, golly, I feel like y'all are making me look bad. I guess I made myself look bad. Go ahead.
I'm addicted to jigsaw puzzles.
Ruthie. All right, ladies, this has now become an intervention.
How long have you been addicted to jigsaw puzzles?
Quite a number of years.
Well, Ruthie, we are going to find help for you, because that is something that we don't want to see you get involved in, because, you know, it just starts with the first puzzle piece, and then it goes on, and next thing you know, I mean, what do you do with them? You've put them together. Where are you going to put them? I mean,
Better watch out. We'll start getting them as Christmas gifts after she Mod Podges them into a solid piece.
I give most of them away so somebody else can put them together. So
that's sweet of you. Come
Well,
on.
at least she's a
Either
green
that or
jigsaw
she's-
addict.
Either that or she's spreading her addiction.
That is true, because, you know, people on drugs, they don't want to take the drug by themselves. They want somebody, hey, come over here and do this with me. You want to, it's an enabler.
She's a pusher.
You're a pusher, jigsaw puzzle pusher.
Dee and I used to do them together a long time ago, but now I do them by myself.
Oh. Well,
It's no longer just social use.
you know, they say if you drink by yourself, that's a sign of being an alcoholic. So if you do a jigsaw puzzle by yourself, you're really too far gone. All right, Kimberly, let's hear it.
Addicted to Nora Roberts novels. Okay.
I read Nora
No,
Roberts, too.
something a little more spicy.
She hasn't read Nora Roberts, has she?
that you can say out loud. Oh, no. Oh, they're
Some of them,
spicy?
yes.
Well,
Oh,
you have
I
to,
didn't
I
know
mean,
that.
Just skip over those parts.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's not like Shades of Grey, but
Have you read that?
some of it.
I read about it. I haven't read the book, but I did read an article, and it had excerpts, and those were enough.
Yeah, the one
Not something I wanted to
teeny
read.
bit I read was enough to convince me it was something.
Wasn't the book for you?
No.
Well, that's good. That's good. That is Nora Roberts. Okay. I thought you were going to talk about your vampire addiction. Didn't you used to watch
Oh.
True Blood? Or
Oh, I did.
What's it called?
I'd rather read the books, though.
Okay.
Maybe it's trashy novel addiction. Maybe that's what it is. Although I don't think they're trashy, but Rick
No.
thinks they're trashy.
Oh.
Rick thinks it's a trashy novel addiction.
Oh.
But
No.
yeah, I'll read paranormal romance
Yeah.
and I liked True Blood, but then they went too far.
Too far.
HBO took it too far. Yes.
Oh, yeah, HBO. They would, yeah.
HBO took it too far. But the books are great.
Hmm.
Sookie Stackhouse books. And I normally don't go for first-person books, but the books are good.
Wow. Okay, you heard it here. What about you, Mo? Come on.
Well, I don't usually get to watch the TV, but a lot of times I will catch some shows that I like to watch, and I'll watch them on the computer or go to like Hulu or something, which is still the computer, but it's not the main network. But I've liked Grey's Anatomy and Private Practice, and sometimes you have to kind of, if it bothers you, some people it doesn't, but look away from the screen when there's a little too much skin or something. But I do like the shows, so
Yeah.
guess that's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not too bad. I think we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
No jigsaw puzzle addiction over
No,
here.
we're not as far gone as Ruthie, but a jigsaw puzzle addiction. Okay, Momo.
One thing I'd like to bring up, I think it's good, and I applaud at least parts of it. I don't know all of it, but Michelle Obama for the last few years has been really on the kick to kind of help with the nation health-wise, as far as becoming healthier, becoming more fit. And she has focused a lot on kids because of childhood obesity being such an issue these days. She has worked with getting the school lunches to become healthier, encouraging schools to have like gardens and stuff where they use fresh produce. I know that's been a big kick, and a lot of the chefs from the different school shows and stuff like on the Food Network and stuff like that have gone into schools and done this type thing as well. She's also worked with getting the media to quit promoting so many sugary, salty things to kids and doing more healthier options for kids, because kids are very influenced by what they see on the cartoon channel when they're watching cartoons. They'll come run and tell you about the toy they want. They'll come and run and tell you about the snack they want. There's a brand new snack. It's in the stores. And I had no idea. Or the brand new, this, that, and the other. So, these are healthier steps. She's gone on The Biggest Loser, and she's promoting, like, drinking more water, And these are all good things, And you can poo-poo a lot of stuff that, the president does, whether you like them or you dislike or like the Affordable Care Act. But, there are some things that are positive, and I think that we should applaud when they are positive. And I really do like the fact that she is working to help the nation's kids and the nation, in general, try to become more healthy, because I think that's a good thing.
I do too, and just because it may not be your brand of politics that is currently in the White House or not, but when somebody does something good, I don't care if it's your mortal enemy. If people have those, I hope not, but you need to give credit where credit's due.
Right.
And just because, and this is part of the problem to me, when we went through this shutdown and all these speeches, and it went for both sides. I mean, the president, railed against the Republicans railed against the president, and when they do something good, it's a good influence to say, you know what, I disagree here, but right here, I really liked what you were doing. And like Bob Graves, and I say this a lot, he wrote that blog article, and it's not us against them, it's this against that. And so say this is good and I like it and I can get on board with, but that I can't right now. I need to either think about it some more, or I know that I'll never like this, or, but my gosh, drinking more water and helping our youth to become healthier, I applaud anyone, to be able to do something like that would have influence over our children. What about you, Kimberly?
Oh, yeah. I don't particularly care for a lot of President Obama's policies, but I can appreciate the First Lady doing that, and absolutely agree that we need to be careful what we say, because I catch my 10-year-old saying, I hate Obama. And, he's heard me make similar statements, and I've had to think, yeah, you know what, maybe I don't really know Barack Obama. I've never met him, so I really can't say that I like or dislike him, and I have to be more specific with him, because they're going to repeat what they hear.
Right. And it'd be a good time to just say, it's not us against him, it's this idea against that idea. And it's okay to be, to have opposing ideas. That's what the world's made up out of, Ruthie, I know you're really big about just, getting along and being as nice as possible and giving credit where credit's due.
That's one thing about Michelle Obama. She not only teaches good health, she exercises. You see her doing exercises with school classes, and she gives the impression, since I don't know her, I only see her like on TV or something, she gives the impression that she's really interested in what other people are doing, what they need, and trying to help them to get what they need. She doesn't have a lot of political clout, I don't think. She can't go into the Senate and say, okay, guys, get out of the sandbox and do your job. She can't do that. But I think just from what I see, because I've never met her, but she seemed like a person that would want to push and help people to get what they need. Not what they want, but what they need.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Somebody else has a couple of guilty pleasures, and
Do tell.
do tell. This is like a gossip fest today, and we'll have to bust out her name. Lisa Graves. She loves Kathy Griffin. Do y'all know who Kathy Griffin is?
I've seen her books.
I do. I watch her. I will watch her, and so yeah, she keeps it real. It seems like. And however, if she gets raunchy, I just say, but she keeps it real as far as, it seems like she can try to get along with everybody. So I give her props for that. And also, Lisa says Kathy Griffin and American Horror Story are her guilty pleasures.
And Jennifer watches that, but I don't know much about it, sorry.
Yeah, and maybe something you might need to bone up on.
I used to really like watching the Ellen Show in the afternoon, and I do still. If I'm home and I think about it, and it's around time that I can turn it on, I will, because her show's just. I mean, it's a lot of fun with the dancing at the beginning, and then, like she one day had this telephone interview with this little old lady, and the little old lady was talking about something, and then she just talked about having gas and everything else, and it was hilarious. And Ellen's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call you back," and and then like the same way that Oprah did on her shows with the giveaways to families and stuff like that. And so, that's a show I like to watch.
Do you consider that a guilty pleasure?
Maybe not, but I do like the show.
Okay, just a little add in there. That's all right, Mo. All right, Ruthie has a story about, and she doesn't have a lot of the details, but she came upon this story, and it's very inspiring. I'm going to let Ruthie try to give you as much of it as possible.
I saw a thing on the television where this young girl, she looked to be about 10, I don't know what her age is, but she was running on a school track, and she had a gentleman by the side of her, and I'm sure he was instructing her some, because there was one of these traffic cones, and he said something to her, and she moved over and missed it. But she's blind, and she runs, and her goal is to do a triathlon, and she's going to start training to do this. She's blind; she can't see where she's going. I have 2 eyes, and they both work, and I don't ride a bicycle. So I really, really have a lot of respect and admiration for this young girl, because most of us, we can see, we can hear, we have 2 good legs and 2 good arms, and we say, oh, I'd like to do that, but I can't because, and then here comes this great big long excuse. No reason, just an excuse. And so she really made me stop and think, just hearing just that little bit. I didn't see the whole story. I just heard that on the news, and that's all I know. But she's really an inspiration to me. So,
Wow. Can you imagine that? I mean, a triathlon is swimming,
Yeah,
riding,
that's
and
what would worry me,
bicycling.
because you can't see what's in the water, would you?
Sometimes you don't want to know.
Maybe so.
I mean, that's, I tell you what, that gives me something to think about. Like, I make every excuse in the world. My husband tries to walk every day, and he's always like, "Why don't you come with me?" I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I just don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Well, there for a while, earlier this year, Joey and I were going out for the walks in the morning and stuff before the weather started getting hot. And I know the first few days I started, I was like, oh my God, because it'd been a while since I'd done anything, a lot of physical activity. And but I'm always chasing the kids and doing Girl Scouts and other stuff, so it wasn't like I'm just sitting around all the time. But, it felt like it when I was out there doing this walk.
You don't sit around.
Well, my legs were started bothering me, and they were cramping up pretty good, and maybe I hadn't stretched out enough or drank enough water or whatever. But I went home, and right after I went home and got showered and got ready to start my day, I walk outside, and there's this little old lady walking the neighborhood that lives in my neighborhood. And I thought, man, and I've seen her out there rain and shine. I've seen her out there in the heat of the early day. And I've seen her in the afternoons and stuff before. And come to find out, I met this lady at my water aerobics class, that I started, and didn't know it was her. And then I saw her pulling out of her driveway. And when I got to class, I was like, that's you. And I told her, and she was like, well, I'm glad. She was, but you know what that means now? Next time I'm out walking and I see you, I'm going to wait for you to get your shoes on. I said, yes, ma'am, you do that.
Ooh. Well, sometimes it does take, and I'm not saying your husband can inspire you, because, I believe he can, and they do, but sometimes it takes somebody different. It's really weird. Like, if this older woman can inspire you more to get out there and do it.
Well, I just thought, look
Joey.
at her age, and, she's out there, and here I am, probably at least 30 years younger than her, if not 40 or so. And I'm finding every excuse to go back to the house, and I'm hurting and not go walking. And here she is, she's out there doing it. And I really need to think about that, And it, like you said, it is not that he wasn't inspiring to me, or I didn't want to get out there and do it. Some respect, but in some respects it was like, oh, poor me, I'm hurting. And then I thought, man, I need to rethink this. So I did, and yeah.
Very good, very good. Sometimes the most unpredictable person can inspire you to do something, or can challenge you, or even to make you feel a certain way about yourself. And so I believe that we can learn from everyone, and no matter, obviously, what planet they're from, or just whatever, that we can learn something from them, and it can be very valuable and something we can take away. Did y'all hear about it went viral? It was a lady that had a Facebook page, and she was, honestly, this woman had a rockin' body. You could bounce a quarter off of every square inch of her body. It was just... Was
that the one with the 3 boys in the picture?
Yeah.
I actually read an article about
gosh.
that. Yeah, she had a Facebook page, and she was getting a lot of negative comments and stuff, and then she wrote something, and I thought I had saved it on my phone. In fact, I thought I emailed it to you, but it never came through on my email.
Yeah.
And when I sent it to you, I carbon copied myself. So I didn't get it.
Well, first of all, over on her Facebook, she made it as her picture on Facebook, I think, and it showed her in her workout gear, like a workout top and a really cool shorts that I wish I could wear, but I guess I don't, because if I did, I would be out exercising. But anywho, she looked great, and she had 3 little boys, like a year apart. Say there was like 18 months, and 2.5 and 3.5, just bam, bam, bam. And on top of her picture, it said, "What is your excuse?" and people got upset about that. And I think it's just the haters are gonna hate. I mean,
What were they upset about?
Well, I mean, and she said, that a lot of people, they said what she was doing was that she was like the media and the propaganda that, everyone has to be like this then. And she said that's not it at all. She struggled with bulimia. She's had 3 kids. I think her husband is in the military, and so sometimes he's not even there, if I remember. I may be saying that wrong. Like I said, I don't still have the article. But she said she's got all this negative stuff, and she's just saying that, whatever your goals are, whatever your things are, you need to make time for you. And that's what she was saying.
Right.
Don't let 3 kids, don't let this issue or that issue become an excuse, kind of like what you're saying, but make time for you. And if your goal is to get in better shape, make that time for yourself. What is your excuse?
yeah.
You have time to run your child here, make time for you to do what you need to do.
True. People thought that, I think they used the terminology that she was fat shaming people. But to me, I thought, well, if you thought that, then you're probably fat and you probably feel bad.
You're
that's
ashamed
what-
of yourself.
You're ashamed. I don't think the woman was doing that. She was doing what Monica said. What's your excuse? I have 3 little boys and I can work out. Now, I don't know if she has a nanny or she,
No nanny.
I don't know.
From what it said, she has no nanny. Sometimes the husband's deployed or gone with his job. She works a full time. She has 2 businesses that she owns, is I think what it said. And so between running those 2 businesses and having these 3 boys and their inactivities, she struggled with bulimia off and on.
And if
Pregnancy
you
weight.
don't know what bulimia is, that's if you eat your food and then you throw it up.
Yeah.
That's a base, explanation for it.
And
It
she
goes
also
further.
said in that article that she wasn't trying to get everybody to have the same physique that she does, because she knows genetic plays roles, hereditary, and just different things. But just be the best you can be and make time.
Right.
for you.
I thought, wow, you're exactly right. Ruthie?
My oldest daughter exercises every morning for an hour. She does stretching exercises and stuff, and then she in the summertime she's watering her acre of flower beds and grass and feeding her hummingbirds. She keeps busy, and she has a sit-down job, but she keeps busy and exercises. She makes sure, and she walks every day. Even if she has to walk by herself, she walks every day in her neighborhood, and so she's in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
And she's turned 60 just recently, so
Yeah, she
and
looks
she still
great.
she gets and she takes care of herself, so
Mhm. Right.
and eats healthy.
Yeah, I mean, and so, when I saw it, I felt for the woman, thinking, you're being so misunderstood, I believe. And I thought, wow, I took it as she meant it. What's my excuse? Well, I just don't want to do it. That's my excuse. But, she looks great, and she reminds me of your daughter, Wileen. Yeah, because I didn't know if I would tell her, say which one.
She
but
wouldn't care.
Okay, yeah, but she reminds me of Wileen because it's like that kind of, she's shaped like her. And I was like, you just go, girl. I mean, but to say that she was fat shaming people, that's horrible, that a woman can't even work out and make a statement. Now, I do laugh, and this is sad on my part. This really is. But people that take all these pictures and put them on Facebook, I don't know. I think it's pitiful. You know what I'm saying?
Can we turn on a different picture of themselves?
You're
The selfies.
I just think it's funny, but that's me. That's just the way I am. And so it wasn't that kind of picture. It was an inspirational poster type picture. It wasn't these people that are really into taking pictures of themselves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's what you do, but I just think it's funny. Oh, speaking of that, I have to say this. And now this person put it out on Facebook, and maybe I shouldn't say it, but I was watching our news feed yesterday, and I was going through and seeing our friends and liking things and whatever, and I came across this one feed, and this woman, she was put all her business out. I mean, business, unbelievable business. And I thought, oh my gosh, you've got to be joking. You've got to be joking. And I just recently saw a video. It's a black church that, and the reason I emphasize black church, because they have got it just, their singing is really awesome. And they have this song called "Don't Put Your Business Out on Facebook."
It's so funny.
It's funny, but they're singing it as a congregational hymn, and I almost wanted to tag that person and put that out there, but I didn't want to be cruel because it sounded like she's going through some really rough stuff.
Yeah, but we've known people that they do. It's just everything, and yeah, I may share like a picture of me or my kids together doing stuff, and and think most people do, but I mean, it's like people that say they don't like drama, but then they're going to put everything and all their business on Facebook. Hello. I mean, that isn't nothing but drama.
I know it. My dad, he's 72, I guess, and he decided he wanted a Facebook page, or maybe Matt tried to talk him into it. But anyway, he signed up, and he was getting pictures of some family people and just doing little things. And then all of a sudden, Matt was trying to tell him, "Oh, this person can be your friend. This person can be your friend. You can." And then he started getting some friends that were putting their business on Facebook, and he didn't want any part of it. He said, and now they're writing to me, and he said, and so he made Matthew delete it. He didn't want any of that drama.
I wonder what happened to his Facebook.
That's what happened. One of our
I thought he
dear,
just didn't like me anymore when it
friends
disappeared.
was putting drama out there, and he didn't want any part of it. So he's just,
Well, now I know.
now you
Okay.
know. That was what happened. Pop's
I'm with
Facebook.
him.
Ruthie's with. Well, this person that just commented said that they're guilty. One of my guilty pleasures is Facebook, and so that's okay. It's okay to have that as a guilty pleasure, but when it peace. Sean's given us the peace sign. I guess that's 2 minutes, but if I could sing, I would bust out and "Don't put your business."
Go ahead for it.
Real funny. What do you mean to me? Don't put your business on Facebook. Please don't. Don't put your business out on Facebook. No.
Hey, well, real quick, I have an article where this was actually a good thing that this person's business was on Facebook.
Well, yeah.
I just remembered that's what the article said. It says 100 Facebook friends show up to defend a bullied student, and he even gets an apology. Apparently, there's a high school boy who was getting bullied by another high school person, and he was being told he didn't have any friends by this bully and this, that, and the other. And apparently he must have put it on Facebook page, and I guess he probably had his mom on Facebook because his mom was friends with an online car club. And on Friday, during his lunchtime, 50 cars showed up carrying 100 people, and they got behind him and came over and talked to him and everything, and they walked over towards where the bully was, and the bully gave him a high five and made an apology. So in that instance, I guess putting his business out on Facebook was a good thing, or Mama putting his business out on Facebook was a good thing. So
Honestly, that's a little embarrassing, and I can see why he's being bullied now. One reason. You don't need your mama to come up to the school.
I don't know if his mama did, but all her friends did.
Young man, I don't think anybody should be bullied. There's never a good reason. I was just joking about that. But I'm glad that the bully had a change of heart, because this is like Unity Month, or it was like Unity Week or Day a couple of Wednesdays ago. And it's horrible to see people being bullied. And if you know of somebody that's being bullied, try to get help for that person and encourage them. And I found that if somebody tells you something like, if you're this, you're that, and then just agree with them. Yeah, I am. I'm a loser. I don't have any friends. You're right. And then just, it's over with. Usually, it's just over with. And just, yeah, you're exactly right. That's the way I do things. That's just a little word to the wise from the ignorant. All right. Anybody have any last minute thoughts? Ruthie.
When a bully tries to bully you, just think what he thinks about me is his problem and not mine.
That's true. Y'all heard it from Ruthie. If you're being bullied, if your child's being bullied, tell them what the bully says about them is their problem. It's not your problem. It doesn't make it so because you say it. I say that a lot. It doesn't make it so just because you say it. Okay, Kimberly. Any final thoughts?
Give Nora Robert a chance.
Okay. Nora Roberts. I will do it. Mo? No final thoughts? All righty. Okay, everybody, do what Michelle Obama says and
Drink more water.
Drink more water. Drink more water. I've got tea today. But really, that's all we do drink is water and coffee and tea on Sunday. All right. We love you, and we will see you. Hey, John Shook is going to be in the house next Sunday. We are so excited. And we've got a chicken and dumpling dinner waiting on him when he arrives on Thursday, and I hope he likes it. We're going to try to redneckinize him as much as possible. No, but we're going to enjoy him, and so we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to the rest of the shows today, so stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. And we love you.